Welcome back, Chipsters. The blackout is officially over. Last week, we went full dark mode on the eKasi log, left you hanging, guessing, and probably refreshing your EPL app like it owed you money. This week, the curtains are up, the lights are back on, and we're revealing who's been climbing, who's been crumbling, and who's been blaming VAR. And if you're new here, welcome to the madness. Catch up on our previous game weeks so you do not miss on any of the drama, banter, or therapy sessions. Believe it or not, we need therapy sessions here. Now, game week 7 recap is serving chaos. The log is shaking, managers are sweating, and the race for the top spot just got spicy. And while we'll dive into him a bit later, let's just say this week's MVP is none other than Semenyo. Had defenders questioning their life choices? Let's get into it. Now, let's shine a spotlight on this week's top fantasy club, which is Platinum Support from Danny Swanson in England. They absolutely marauded Game 7 with 135 points. Yes, you read that right. The real power move, it's the bench boost. On that bench, he had Raya, Arsenal's keeper, Mateta, Petro Porro from Tottenham, and Munoz, all contributing, basically turning that bench into a points factory. Now, let's talk the starters who really made the noise. We've got J Timber with 11 points, Rice with also 11 points, dependable as ever, Caicedo showing why everyone's watching him, who moved with 10 points, and of course, Semenyo, he's captained as well, and he's the MVP of the week, going big and making defenders cry. Also, Grealish, not forgetting him, pulled a very sneaky double-digit haul, and Van Hecke chipped in to keep things sturdy. Let's just say while the average manager was praying for a green arrow, Platinum Support came through with a battle cry. If you didn't have the squad, yeah, tough week. Let's dig deeper.
Alright, since we wrapped up the last segment on a heavy sigh, Platinum Support showing no mercy, let's try and lighten things up a bit with the team of the week. Perhaps some of these players you might want to transfer in or play the lucky number jumble with your chips. Who knows? So here's who made the cut for game week 7. In goal, we've got Lamas pulling off Heroic. Then a backline featuring Vardiol, Timber, Burn, and Van Hecke. Honestly, that's more brick wall than defense. Midfield, there's a spicy mix. Semenyo, Marlon, Bruno, no, not the Red Devil one, relax, Palace fans. Plus, Kudos and Rice, steady as ever. And up front, we've got Sheshko, proving that even when forwards don't explode, a solid 9 points can still save your week. A very interesting pattern though. The top forwards barely cracked double digits this time, which kind of proves offenses. Diogo Jota FC's manager, if you guys don't know, new to the channel, just an FYI reminder, remember? He wasn't just talking nonsense when he said he's not investing too heavily up front. His wisdom might just be aging like fine wine. Or maybe he's just lucky. We will see. Anyway, once you're done reviewing this lineup, let's see what face you'll be pulling. Shock, is it pride, or pure pain? Because some of us had none of these guys.
Alright, ladies and gents, the moment we've been waiting for. Let's turn down the heat and check out how the EPL eKasi League table is shaping up after game week 7. At the top, it's still Molemo, holding strong for Tetabo FC with 430 points. Man's defending that crown like it's Champions League qualification on the line. God damn. And then hot on his heels is none other than Easy FC, managed by Mike, who's sitting pretty in second with 412 points. Consistency looking smoother than a Calvin De Bruyne assist. Then sliding up the charts is Silas with All Out FC, which makes a bold leap into third, which sits him at 399 points. And guess what? He's also our highest scorer this week with a massive 81 points. Man, he's cooking something special, and I can't help but want to taste that pot. And in fourth, we've got Breaking Badly with 387 points, probably trying to break back into the top 3. And then TM Dragons and Diogo Jota are neck to neck with 369 points. It's really tighter than Arsenal's defense line on a good day there, hey? Then we've got Kepa Clean FC sitting at 355, which holds the 7th spot. And then rounding off in the 8th is Monda FC, who's climbed back with 348 points. Look, there's not much movement at the summit, but trust me, guys, that mid-table chaos is bubbling nicely. Game week 8 might just shake the whole thing up. You understand me? Now, speaking of big movers, you already know we had to catch up with the man of the moment. It's none other than Silas, manager of All Out 11 FC. Fresh off that impressive climb to third with a game week high of 81 points, this manager clearly came out swinging. And maybe he took All Out a little too literal this time. And yes, before you ask, he is a Chelsea fan. So while his fantasy team is flying high, his real life club though, let's just say they're still finding their shooting boots somewhere between Cobham and confusion. But hey, as a loyal Blue myself, it's through sickness and banter do our spot. Blue hearts. Anyway, let's hear from the man behind the momentum. He better tell us what went right this week, and he needs to tell us how it feels climbing that table like Palmer climbing Chelsea's assist charts. All right, enough of the intro hype. Silas, welcome to the show. Let's start with the first question. Cole, Palmer's been out with that groin injury, missing key games including the recent 2-1 win over Liverpool. How do you think his absence has affected Chelsea's attacking dynamics?
Cole Palmer is an intelligent player who will find spaces that other players typically don't find. So without him, I think Chelsea becomes quite predictable in their style of play. It becomes hard for them to unlock the other team's defense. So credit to the team for beating Liverpool in his absence. But I think in attack we lacked creativity.
Fair point. Without Palmer, it's like Chelsea is trying to unlock defenses with a butter knife, hey? Now, speaking of frustrations, those red cards, 3 in the last 4 games, it's becoming a theme. What's your take on Chelsea's discipline lately?
As a fan, 3 red cards are worrying. 3 red cards in 4 games is definitely not normal, but I also think that some of these red cards they were not malicious. Look at the Sanchez and the Chalobah red cards. I just think that the structure sometimes fails and the defenders left, man versus man, and then they didn't have to make a desperate choice.
Fair enough. Sounds like Chelsea's defenders are out here choosing between a red card or therapy, and the red card wins every time. But hey, structure or not, something's clearly clicking on your end. You've gone from 8th to 3rd in just 2 game weeks. What changed? What's the secret sauce behind that rise?
Yeah, so in terms of, I guess, my FPL rise, I had planned that from game week 6 I would center my team around Haaland. He's currently the best player in the league with the biggest returns. On top of that, the fixtures look much better for him compared to Salah, which is, the guy who initially had centered my team around. So, when the season started, I had to choose whether center it around Salah or around Haaland.
So the plan is now Operation Build around Haaland. And clearly it's paying off. Salah might be the king of Egypt, but Haaland's been ruling FPL lately. Smart move, Silas. Now, speaking of strategy, for all the new managers out there still trying to figure out whether to triple captain, wildcard, or just cry after every deadline, what's one golden tip you'd give them before their next game week meltdown?
Yeah, and in terms of advice for new managers, I've got 3 philosophies. 1, think 2 moves ahead. Don't just plan for this weekend. Look at the fixtures for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Number 2, remove your heart. Do not pick players just because you like them or that they play for your club. The data, the statistics, the logic, the numbers, this is what brings you points. And then number 3, respect the captaincy. The armband is everything.
Hesses, not the respect the captaincy sermon. Crying emojis. I feel like every manager who benched a 15-pointer needed to hear that one. Solid advice though. Logic over loyalty, numbers over nostalgia. Now before we wrap up, let's switch gears for a fun one. If your All Out 11 FC had a mascot, what would it be? And don't say a blue lion just because you're a Chelsea fan.
I think if All Out 11 had a mascot, it would be a wild dog. The wild dog is a smart dog. It doesn't give up. It's relentless. It works in a pack. All at 11 doesn't give up after one bad game.
A wild dog. Ooh. Loyal, strategic, and always hunting for points. That's definitely the strategy every FPL manager needs, especially after a red card weekend. Silas, thanks for dropping by the dugout and sharing your game plan. From Haaland's strategy to captaincy commandments, we've learned a thing or two. To everyone watching, remember, even wild dogs bounce back after a rough week, said Silas. Game week 8 is coming up post-international break, so hopefully your stars are fit, in form, and avoiding injuries. Or else, your bench might be more like Chelsea's defense after another red card. Chaos in the box. So good luck to all managers. May your captains actually hit the back of the net. Your transfers make sense. And may VAR never ruin your weekend. Don't forget to like, comment, and tell us your team's mascot. We are dying to know. Bye for now.